the scariest thing about the Nuggets right now, it's not Jokic's passing, it's not Jamal Murray's shot-making, it's not even their chemistry, it's Russell Westbrook, because somehow the former MVP has become the ultimate connector for a team that was already a nightmare to guard. No longer the engine of an offense, Russ has transformed into the piece that unlocks everything Denver wants to do. And it's happening in real time, right in front of our eyes, through cutting, crashing, chaos, and control. The reinvention of Russell Westbrook. When most players get older, the game forces them to slow down. But with Russell Westbrook, the opposite happened. He didn't slow down, he just changed direction. In Denver, Russ has found a new role, a new rhythm, and most importantly, a new purpose. This isn't the Russ that dominated the ball for 40 minutes and chased triple-doubles. This is a player who picks his moments, picks his spots, and absolutely punishes defenses that forget who he is. It all starts with movement. The Nuggets aren't asking Russ to initiate every possession. Instead, he's often operating off the ball, working as a cutter, a spacer, and even a screener. That might sound small, but it's huge, because with Jokic running the show from the elbows and Jamal Murray dancing around screens, all Russ has to do is move at the right time and the defense cracks. Watch how he drifts into open space when Jokic draws attention, or how he cuts hard from the weak side when no one's watching. It's constant motion, constant threat, and when you add his speed and strength to the mix, even a slight window becomes a serious problem for the other team. But it's not just about effort. It's about understanding. Russ has figured out where to be and when to be there. On some possessions, he's just hanging near the dunker spot, waiting. On others, he flashes to the free throw line, draws a second defender, and immediately kicks it out. These aren't just random movements, they're reads. And Denver is giving him the freedom to make them. That's why the Nuggets' offense flows differently when he's on the floor. With Russ hovering around the action, defenders have to make choices they don't want to make. Do you sag off and let him shoot? He's hitting threes at a solid clip. Do you play him tight and risk him blowing by you? Either way, you're compromised, and that's the word that defines his impact. Because once the defense is compromised, Denver's options explode. Jokic finds cutters with ease, Murray gets cleaner looks, shooters get daylight. All because one guy, a guy many teams counted out, is doing all the little things most stars would never accept. Russ is embracing them, and the results are speaking louder than ever. This version of Westbrook doesn't just fit, he elevates. He gives Denver a gear they didn't have before, a wild card that can't be schemed out of the game. And the craziest part, he's doing it without even dominating the ball. In fact, the less he touches it, the more dangerous he becomes. Defenders don't respect his jumper, so they sag. And when they sag, he cuts. When they help off him, he crashes the boards. When they look away for half a second, he's already behind them. You don't need high usage to wreck a defense. You just need timing, instinct, and no fear. Russ has all three. So while Jokic and Murray get most of the headlines, the quiet revolution happening in Denver is Russ not as the savior, not as the star, but as the key that makes everything click. And this is just the beginning. What makes Russell Westbrook so terrifying in Denver's system isn't just what he's doing, it's how unpredictable it all is. He's not just a role player filling in gaps. He's chaos in motion. And the Nuggets are using that chaos like a weapon. Take any half-court possession. Jokic is at the elbow, Murray is curling off a screen, and Russ, he's lurking. Sometimes in the corner, sometimes on the wing, sometimes just floating in the paint. And then, in a flash, he explodes. Maybe it's a backdoor cut, maybe it's a crash to the offensive glass. Maybe it's just a sprint across the baseline to shift the entire defense by a few crucial steps. But every movement matters, and every movement creates a crack. And here's where it gets scary. Russ knows exactly when those cracks are coming. Because when defenders try to overload the strong side or cheat toward Jokic, Russ slips behind them. When teams rotate to stop Denver's ball movement, Russ is already sliding into open space. It's not just speed, it's feel. He's reading the game like a veteran and attacking it like a rookie with something to prove. That chaos shows up in the numbers too. He's getting offensive rebounds at a rate most guards can't even imagine. And those rebounds don't just lead to second-chance points, they destroy defensive momentum. It's one thing to get a stop. It's another thing to get a stop. See Russ swoop in for the rebound and reset the clock with even more pressure. What's worse is that even when Russ doesn't touch the ball, his presence alone forces reactions. Defenses hesitate. They overhelp. They collapse too early or rotate too late. And every one of those tiny mistakes is all Denver needs to punish you. The Nuggets have fully leaned into this version of Westbrook. They use him as a decoy, a slasher, a spacer, even a screener in some actions. You'll see him slip a pick, roll to the short corner, and suddenly the ball's swinging to him with nobody in sight, wide open. And for a guy who used to be ignored behind the arc, he's making defenses pay. But his shooting isn't the main threat. It's everything around the shot. Because the moment you step out to contest, he's already attacking the closeout. Now, the paint is wide open. Jokic gets behind the defense. Murray finds a lane. Or Russ finishes it himself. Through contact, off the glass, no problem. And when teams try to shut it all down with the zone, that's where Russ becomes even more dangerous. He's not standing still in the corners like most guards. He's flashing into the soft spots, cutting into the high post, dragging defenders with him. You can't zone him out because he doesn't stop moving. And Denver feeds off that movement. Every cut is a trigger. Every flash forces help. And when help comes, the ball is flying around the court. Jokic, Murray, MPJ, whoever is open. It's a beautiful offense, and Russ is at the heart of it, not as the star, but as the spark. It's almost ironic. The guy who once needed the ball every possession to make an impact is now doing the most damage without it. That transformation from alpha to asset, from primary scorer to ultimate connector, is why Denver looks so dangerous. Because when you have Jokic throwing darts, Murray hitting shots, and now Russ breaking the defense in new ways every possession, what do you take away? What do you gamble on? Who do you help off? The answer? It doesn't matter. Because whoever you leave, Russ is already there, cutting, crashing, waiting to strike. He's not just fitting in. He's forcing teams to play scared. And in the playoffs, fear changes everything. If Russell Westbrook's offensive reinvention has been impressive, his impact on the defensive end has been just as critical and maybe even more surprising. Because while his energy and athleticism have always been there, what he's doing for Denver now is something different. It's smarter, it's more focused, and it's completely messing with opposing game plans. You watch him on defense now, and it's clear He's not just flying around for highlights. He's calculated. He's studying. He knows the sets before they unfold, and he's using that to jump passing lanes, blow up screens, and deny stars their rhythm. On paper, he might not be Denver's best defender, but in the flow of the game, he's often their most disruptive. Let's start with how the Nuggets use him. When they want pressure at the point of attack, Russ is the first name they call. He's guarding up, taking on big wings, crafty guards, doesn't matter. He's using his strength to body guys on the perimeter, and his speed to recover if he gets screened. And when he's locked in, he's an absolute pest. Take his minutes against James Harden in the first round. Not only did he hold his own, he made Harden uncomfortable. He fought through picks, stayed attached on isolations, and even had moments where he flat-out denied Harden the ball. For a guy many had written off defensively, these were tone-setting possessions. They said, if you're going to score, you're going to have to work for it, every inch. But Russ's defense isn't just about guarding the ball. His real value shines when he's off it rotating, anticipating, causing problems. When the Nuggets drop into a zone, Russ plays up top, not just because of his length or athleticism, but because of how fast he can cover ground. 1 second, he's harassing a ball handler 30 feet from the hoop. The next, he's diving into the lane to pick off a skip pass. It's relentless. And what makes him so effective in that role is trust. Denver trusts him to make those reads, to jump a passing lane at the right time, to help off the right guy, to rotate when Jokic gets pulled out to the corner. That freedom only works if the player behind it has the instincts to back it up. And Russ does. The Clippers thought they could exploit him by dragging him into mismatches. But what they didn't count on was how often Russ would blow those up before they even started. Whether it was a switch, a ghost screen, or a weak side flare, Russ was often 2 steps ahead. And when he's locked in like that, he becomes a chaos agent on defense, the kind that throws off spacing, timing, and confidence. And then there's the rebounding. We already talked about how he crashes the offensive glass, but his work on the defensive boards is just as important. In small ball lineups or zone looks, Westbrook becomes a pseudo-big boxing out, tracking misses and jumping higher than anyone his size should. Every rebound he grabs ends a possession. Every one he rips away from a bigger player sets the tone. Even more crucial is what happens after that rebound. Because Russ doesn't look for an outlet, he is the outlet. The moment he secures the board, he's gone, sprinting up the floor, collapsing the defense, forcing backpedals. Denver doesn't need to call a play. The play is Russ, in motion, making the defense scramble. And when you scramble against a team with this much talent, you lose. It's a loop. Russ makes a stop, gets the rebound, ignites the break, and suddenly the Nuggets are scoring before the defense is even set. That loop, defense to offense in seconds, is what makes him so essential. And it's also what makes him so dangerous. Because you can't rest when Russ is on the floor. Not on offense, not on defense, not in transition. He forces you to think faster, move quicker, and guess more often than you want to. And in the playoffs, where every mistake gets magnified, that kind of pressure is exhausting. Teams try to hide weaker defenders in the corner. Russ finds them. Teams try to attack slower defenders off the dribble. Russ beats them to the spot. Teams try to force him to shoot. He's knocking them down. There's no safe choice anymore. And that's the difference now. For the first time in years, Westbrook isn't trying to prove he's still the guy. He's just trying to win. And in doing so, he's become something even scarier, the guy that makes sure you don't. This version of Russell Westbrook isn't louder, it's sharper. It's not about domination, it's about devastation. And if you've been watching closely, you can feel it. This isn't just a comeback, it's an evolution. Westbrook used to be a force of nature, someone you had to survive. Now, he's a weapon of precision, deployed, timed, and optimized by a team that finally understands how to use him. And the results are terrifying for anyone standing in the Nuggets' path. In previous years, teams knew how to slow him down. They'd go under every screen, clog the paint, dare him to shoot. But now, that doesn't work. You go under, he walks into a three. You sag off, he cuts behind you. You send help, he zips a pass to the corner. There's no safe coverage because every choice has a cost, and Westbrook is cashing in. What's maybe the most impressive part of all this is the humility. He's not demanding 25 shots. He's not freezing out teammates. He's leaning into the dirty work, cutting without the ball, crashing the boards, guarding bigger guys, taking the challenge. And when it's time to take over, he does it without hesitation and without forcing it. Because this isn't the hero ball Westbrook. This is the winning Westbrook. You see it late in games. Tie score, shot clock winding down. Denver's offense has stalled. And Russ, he's ready. Maybe it's a drive through traffic, a rebound in traffic, or a clutch three from the corner. He's been making those plays, the kind that shift momentum, silence crowds, and seal wins. And the Nuggets, they've embraced him. Jokic loves playing with guys who move, cut, and think the game on his level. Murray feeds off tempo and chaos. The role players thrive when Russ draws attention away from them. This isn't a one-man show. It's a perfect storm of timing, trust, and talent. What's wild is how fast this has all clicked. It's not like Westbrook had a full season to settle in. He came in with questions swirling around him, washed up, bad fit, locker room risk. Instead, he's answered with effort, with unselfishness, with impact. And now, every team that faces Denver has a new problem to solve. Jokic is still a two-time MVP. Murray still catches fire. The system still flows. But now, there's something else, a live wire, a wild card, a nightmare matchup that never stops running, never stops believing. Russell Westbrook has never needed the spotlight to burn. All he needed was the right system and the right moment. And this is the moment. He doesn't lead the team in scoring. He doesn't touch the ball the most, but he unlocks everything. The pressure, the pace, the movement, the edge. He turns broken plays into buckets, missed assignments into momentum, open space into highlight reels. Russell Westbrook, the connector, the catalyst, the chaos. The reason Denver doesn't just feel dangerous, they feel inevitable.